And that actually was an idea that was brought up by Jim Bohlen, so I'm going to let you talk about it, Jim.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. The reason I requested that this be put on the agenda because I received a lot of public comment about this and a lot of requests, to start a public discussion on this. And so if it's on the agenda, then people could come and say whether they're either in favor of or opposed to this project. And that would give council some public input on how we should proceed. So if anybody wants to get up and talk for 3 minutes about, or just if everybody that's in favor of it wants to stand up right now, that'd be great.
Well, I think, okay, well, let's see.
And then everybody, you can all sit down, and everybody that's opposed to it could stand up. Okay, so we, amongst the people in the House tonight, everybody's kind of in favor of this project, it looks like. But if anybody wants to get up and speak to this issue for 3 minutes, I think that'd be great.
But before we get started on that, I just want to remind folks, this is not a public hearing, but we would like to know who you are and where you live. And keep your remarks to the pedestrian bicycle bridge, please. And I'll be more than happy, and I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and then I will let you know when the 3 minutes is up, and we'll move on to the next person, okay? Come on up. State your name right up here. And where you live, even though I know who you are, Stu.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm Stuart Scott. I reside with my wife Susan at 112 South Main, Moscow. I speak in support of the pedestrian bicycle bridge, and the points I'd like to make to the council are that there's been a significant amount of development on the east side of town, which right now is cut off from bicycle access, or at least in my opinion, easy bicycle access to the downtown. From prior involvement with the predecessor Mayor Cheney's Parking Commission, I will tell you that there are more employees in the downtown of Moscow than the total number of parking spaces. So any small thing that can be done by the city, which is consistent with the money the city has already spent for bike racks, signage, lanes, that will help bring people into a potential to come downtown on bicycles instead of cars, I think is a good thing. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Stu.
Mr. Mayor, I brought some show and tell.
Okay, well, come up here and tell us who you are, Nils, even though I know who you are. So everybody, we got you on record. Can you do it in 3 minutes? All right. I don't know what that looks like, some kind of a torture device.
No, it's not a torture device. It's cool. Nils Petersen, 841 Travoy. About the same time that some of this conversation was going on regarding the 3rd Street Bridge, I worked with a group of WSU engineering students on a bridge for the Bohlen Road crossing of the Letau Trail. It's about a 60-foot span, sort of similar to the scale of project that you would have here in town. They did a timber frame covered bridge, so a classic kind of New England covered bridge. And this was a model. It's suffered some in the last 10 years, hanging in my garage. But the idea is that there's 2 of these frames, and that the pedestrians pass through the center, and the roof goes over. That it could be constructed from local materials, and we could make it some kind of a project. There's various timber framer builders in town. We would need engineering, as noted. There are some engineering firms that specialize in this sort of work, which would be the sort of resource that you'd want to find. At any rate, so I'm supportive of the idea of a bridge, and I'm proposing that you think about something more intriguing than the metal bridges that Pullman has.
Okay. Thank you, Nils.
Okay, thank you, council members and Mr. Mayor, for addressing our concerns on this matter. My name is Frank Bongiorno. My address is 1514 East 3rd. And in case you don't know, this is my house.
Yep, we know where you live, Frank.
Okay. 3rd Street is really unique because of ease of walking to town, ease of bicycling to town, and also for the powered wheelchairs. It's used very extensively by those people. And having an easy way to get to Pullman by shooting down 3rd Street. 3rd Street is already a freeway. And it's just going to get worse. And I have a big fear with the number of children going to school at Lena, the number of children using the park at Lena, and also East City Park. And plus you have the high school right there. So I have a worry that someday we're going to have a bad accident. And so I really thank the council for putting us on the agenda and to listening to our concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. That's all you get. You get 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll give somebody else your 30 seconds, Nils.
He's gone overtime before, I
Yeah.
think, so he's probably used some of his time.
Okay.
I just, Nels Reese, 308 South Hayes. I represent the Citizens for a Livable Community, and you have in your packet some material, so we don't need to go over that. I just want to say that this could be an exciting amenity to Moscow. Could be something unique and intriguing to do, and we would work with you and try to support as much as we possibly can. So that's what I wanted to lay on the table. We have more than 300 petitioners, not just in Fort Russell, but across town. We'll have more. We'll have 500 soon enough. We've got another, we're now raised another pledge of 3,500 at this point to add to what we had. We'll continue with that. This kind of caught us a little by surprise, just came out of the woodwork, and as Gary says, we didn't have 3 weeks to get ready or anything. We just had 48 hours, so here we are. We want to support it, and we would work with anybody in the city to try and make something really good happen on across Paradise Creek. Willow, you see that little Willow crossing? Can you imagine? So, thank you.
Thank you, Nils.
Joanne Manita, 203 South Howard. As Nils says, this caught us by surprise because it wasn't on the agenda, and then it was, and a lot of people who wanted to talk about it are out of town for the holiday. But it has been called to our attention that a lot of high school students cross the creek by climbing down and then climbing up, carrying their bicycles over their head. And we have pictures, maybe they're in your packet.
We have those. Now.
And so we talked to some of the teachers at the high school, and they said that they think the environmental club, which has at least 30 members, would be interested in working on this project also. So I think if the city shows the leadership, that the community will come together and the young people will come together, and that will make it even more of an exciting project and a unique project for Moscow. So I thank you for considering it.
Thank you, Joanne.
Linda Pike, 1026 East 3rd. Way back, probably in maybe 2007 or so, after we had discussed this many times before that. And I can't remember exactly how it came to my attention, but I was out at Robinson Lake Park and noticed the bridge that they had across the creek out there. So I went to the county and I asked them about how they got that bridge built. And they told me that a professor had designed the bridge, and then they had gotten volunteers, students, and they were able to build that bridge for $7,000. And I was just so excited because I knew that we had donations of $7,000, and I thought, hey, we can have a bridge. So I asked about the plans at the county, and they said, yeah, we have the architectural plans for that bridge. And then the person helping me, she said, in fact, if you want me to, I will call the engineer who designed that bridge. So she did, and I talked to him, and he said, take the plans, they're yours, I have no patent on them, and you can have the plans for the bridge. So I was just elated, thinking, oh, I've solved everybody's problems. And I did bring it to the city. And what I was told, I believe, by the city engineer, and I can't remember who I talked to at the time, but it's a suspension bridge, and they weren't sure that a suspension bridge would work in that application. But anyway, I still have the plans of that bridge that was built out Robinson Lake Park for $7,000. So just wanted you to know about that. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda. Oh, and Gary had mentioned earlier, we just got plans today from the city, the ones that the city of Pullman does. So we'll get a chance to see what those are. We have not seen those yet, folks. So.
I had not planned to, oh, excuse me, Gretchen Stuart, 411 South Hayes, 411 South Hayes. I hadn't planned to speak tonight, but I just want to. I've lived in Moscow for 20 years, and on 5th Street, just south of Hayes, and then moved about 3 houses away onto Hayes about 14 years ago. And in all that time, I've walked up and down 3rd Street to go downtown and beyond, walked to the mall, whatever, or ridden my bike. And I've seen the number of bicyclists grow over the years. It's amazing. To me, it's wonderful because we use our bikes a lot for transportation in town rather than our car. And I enjoy the slow pace of walking. I love to walk here. I've walked here tonight, walk everywhere that I can. Weather doesn't bother me either. I enjoy it. I just wanted to point out the increase in the walkers and bikers and mothers and fathers with strollers and a couple of other kids walking along on 3rd, going to the farmer's market or whatever event. I think it's a joy to see, and to me it's a real sign of neighborhood that people feel this is a good street to walk along and interesting, and it takes us downtown to all the events downtown. And I just want to say one more thing if I have 20 seconds. My mother-in-law from Cincinnati used to come and visit us. She's no longer with us, but I mean, she could not walk without her walker. But we even got her many times to go walk from 5th Street, that's where we lived at the time, right east of Hayes, down 3rd, and the reward was breakfast at the Breakfast Club. And she just had fun waving to people. I mean, so you've got, and I've seen too, the number of people who are in the motorized wheelchairs. This is one of their main corridors downtown. So I've seen other people with walkers, and it was just a joy that she could do that. And she would even come back up that hill, up 3rd Street Hill. It was fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Gretchen, and congratulations on all the walking you do. That's terrific. And biking as well.
Hello. My name is Ben Calabrese. I live at 506 Naughty Court, and I'm the chair of the Transportation Commission as well. I think you all have minutes from our meeting, probably over a year ago, so I won't go into that, but just know that from a transportation standpoint, the commission supports this bridge, and because of the benefits of connectivity and accessibility for the residents of Moscow. So,
Ben,
that's all I'm gonna say about
let
that.
me ask you a question. If I remember right, that meeting was October 29th of 2015, and in that
It was.
minutes, if I'm correct on that, you folks, because there's not money budgeted in the budget for anything, any other kind of a bridge because of the expense in it, and it was your folks' point of view that if a regular bridge couldn't have been built, then within 5 to 7 years, that a pedestrian bridge should be, and a bike bridge within 2 to 3 years. Is that correct?
Right. Ultimately, we support the recommendation from the multimodal transportation plan.
Okay.
If that bridge could not be built within 8 years, then we would want a pedestrian bicycle bridge built within the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Thank you, Ben.